I first immigrated to the United States when I was 6 years old from Iran. Now, for those of you who aren't familiar, Iran is the second largest country in the Middle East, located in Western Asia. And so since then, I've moved back and forth, and each time that I come back to the States, I get a lot of questions, which range from, do you ride camels? Don't you live in the middle of a desert? Do you speak Arabic? Don't you have to wear those burqas when you go out in the streets? And most recently, when are you going to tell your people to stop being terrorists? Now, when I was a kid, I kind of got confused about these questions and moved on. But as I grew older, I started to become more frustrated, and because of how inaccurate these questions were. And I started to question, what made these people think this way? And the longer I stayed in the United States, the more that I realized that a lot of these misconceptions were coming from what they were seeing in the media, whether it was a Hollywood movie or the news or even a politician. So I wanted to go over a few of these misconceptions that I've seen over the years and give you a little insight of my own personal experiences from living in the Middle East. So a few general misconceptions that I've seen over the years that have been associated with the Middle East have been beards, burqas, billionaires and their fancy cars, and ISIS. Now, Hollywood also has a tendency of associating their Middle Eastern characters with being terrorists, such depicted in Showtime's The Sleeper Cell and Homeland, and also the Dictator movie. Now, who here has seen the movie 300? Oh, wow, a few of you. Awesome. So for those of you who haven't, 300 actually came out roughly 10 years ago, and it was about the epic battle between 300 Spartans that went off to fight the great big Persian Empire of the time. Now, while I love that movie, and I actually cried at the end, I also realized that there were some false depictions regarding the Persian culture and empire of the time. Now, a few of these depictions were that they showed our women as Arabic belly dancers. They also dressed our army in commonly known Arab attire. And they completely inaccurately showed how King Xerxes should have looked like historically. Now, they also had a section of our army that were called the Immortals, and were basically creature-like. So this movie showed Persians as being Arabic, exotic, and basically non-human. Now, the news outlets also have a tendency of invoking Islamophobia to the public and associating Middle Eastern people with being jihadi extremists by writing headlines such as, "Jihadi extremists on our streets." Now, Shibli Telhami from the Brookings Institute conducted a poll that spanned from 2001 to 2015. And in that poll, she asked Americans how they felt about Islam and Muslims and whether they found it favorable or unfavorable. Now, in 2001, right after the 9/11 attacks, 39% of the people that she asked found the religion to be unfavorable. Now, that percentage rose to 61% in 2015. Now, I can bet you that that number is even higher today. So all of these misconceptions and stereotypes that I've talked to you so far, they actually do exist in areas of the Middle East, but it does not represent us as a whole. Now, what a lot of people don't know is that the Middle East is comprised of 18 countries, 5 major languages, including Arabic, Persian, Turkish, Kurdish, and Hebrew, with 20 minority languages and 17 different ethnic groups. So it's a very diverse area. Now, another misconception is that people associate the Middle East with the Islamic State. Now, what a lot of people don't know is that out of all the Muslims in the world, which comprise almost a fourth of the human population, most of them don't even live in the Middle East, and they are not Arab. In fact, as of today, the country with the most Muslim population is Indonesia, which is located in Southeast Asia. So I believe that with the current climate that we have towards Middle Eastern culture and religion, that it's more important now than ever to become informed about the area. So I set it as my goal that whenever anyone asked me about Iran, I would sit down with them, show them pictures, and show them my experiences and how I view the country, which is what I'm going to do for you today. So this is our streets. As you can see, we do not ride camels. I actually lived in the capital that has over 13 million people, so I had to deal with a lot of cars, a lot of skyscrapers, and a lot of people. Now, the common attire for a millennial girl is modern and artistic. I've actually never seen anyone wear a burqa in the streets. Now, while we do have deserts in the south, we also have beautiful mountain ranges in the north and northwest of the country. Our architecture dates back to over 2,000 years. We throw killer parties in that there's nonstop music and laughter and dancing and eating. And if you go out at 2 a.m. on a Thursday night, you'll probably be stuck in traffic because everyone's coming back from their family gatherings and parties that they've been to. We also have an Academy Award-winning director named Asghar Farhadi. We have a wide variety of foods and sweets that are central to our hospitable culture. And if you've ever been to a Persian household, you know that once you're there, you're not allowed to put your fork down. And I remember the last time I visited Iran, I gained 10 pounds in only 2 months. And it's because of what you see behind me. So, very central. Now, girls there can vote and drive and date. There's actually more women enrolled in higher level education than men, especially in the STEM careers. Now, when I lived in Iran, I lived across from a synagogue. We knew many people that were of Christian and Jewish faiths. Oh, and not all of our men have long beards. You see, the people of Iran are hospitable and diverse and amongst the most intellectual people in the world. We are so much more than our government or how we're portrayed in the media. This is my Iran. Now, every time I show someone these pictures or I tell them about my experiences, I get the exact same response, which is, I had no idea. However, I'm not going to stand here and say that I'm immune to falling to these misconceptions myself. For example, I've never been to Palestine. And so from what I've seen in the media, I've always had a war-torn country and an image of a war-torn country in my head. But one of my friends is actually from there, and she got to visit recently, and I got to see the country through her eyes. And what I saw was their breathtaking nature, their extravagant weddings, and how progressive the culture is. And now every time I think about Palestine, I have a different image in my head, and I owe it to her story. So I've gone through a few of the misconceptions that are associated with Middle Eastern culture and religion, and I've also given you an insight of my own experiences, because I believe that to really understand the world, we need to start a conversation. We can't allow a biased lens to tell us how other people live and how other cultures are. We either need to experience it for ourselves or talk to someone who's been there. Conversations are crucial to reaching out and escaping the blind stereotypes that have taken center stage in this modern age. Thank you.